Marianne, you want to take the roll, please?
Mr. Goodchin?
Here.
Ms. Ruska? Mr. Jepson?
Here.
Dr. King?
Here.
Mr. Walsh? Mr. Welch?
Here.
Mr. Cindy?
Here. We have a quorum. First item is FOIA request. Any FOIA requests today?
No FOIA requests at this time.
Then we move to visitor statements. Do we have any visitors who want to speak tonight in the audience? Seeing none, is there any additional discussion items we want to add to this meeting tonight? Seeing none, let's move to the consent agenda.
Consent agenda, there were a few questions on the bills. Tim, you want to just answer a few of those?
Yeah, there was a question regarding the Airmark contract, and on the website, we have to list each year the contracts that exceed $25,000 that we've entered into during the year or awarded during the year. Airmark's not included on that on the website because the contract with them was awarded prior to 2013. There was a question regarding, this is on page 8, also page 24, 31, and 32, the payments that we made to the basketball officials. First question was, why did we have some of those payments on the interest checks and why were some of them on the board-approved checks? The interest checks basically were the checks that were issued in early and mid-December where we were paying the officials for the regular games. The ones that are on the board-approved payables were for the holiday tournament where we had a significant amount of vouchers that were turned in, and to try and pay those on the interest checks just would have been too much, so we put those through on the board payables. In terms of the control of those payments, the athletic office distributes the vouchers to the basketball officials and then collects them at the end of the night. They also keep track in there to make sure there's no duplicate payments. And when they come to us, our accounts payable administrative assistant also keeps track on a spreadsheet the payments to all of the different officials so that we make sure that there's no duplicate payments.
We also have, with some of those issues, is sometimes with those officials, we try to work with them, but they don't understand that, the ref in the game, they're not going to get paid for 30 days or sometimes 40 days after because of the way the cycles of the board meetings run. So you want to make sure you're getting quality officials, and you want to make sure the assigner doesn't think there's payment problems. So I remember this coming up before. This question was asked before.
Any other questions?
There was also a question about whether or not the IHSA or the district undertakes background checks for sports officials. Since we're not hiring those people, we're not doing any background checks on them. But they all have to be licensed through IHSA and meet IHSA requirements. There was a question regarding a tuition reimbursement to a parent.
Page.
This is on page 10.
10 of board book or 10 of your book?
10 of board book, should be.
Is that the mileage reimbursement?
It's the mileage reimbursement. And that was a parent who was transporting a child to and from a school out of district for a period of days during the month of December. And the total of mileage was about 1,700 miles over the course of the month. And that's what they were reimbursed for.
Okay. Any other questions?
There was a question regarding a payment for tuxedo coats and skirts that was made by the music department.
What page?
That's on page 17, I'm sorry.
Okay.
MPG Tandem, and it's for one of the performances that we're doing.
Okay.
And finally, there was a question regarding Riza Ford. We don't really have any kind of a lease with Riza Ford. We get 2 new cars that we use for driver's ed at the beginning of each year, usually during the summer. And I think this came up once before, and we talked about the idea of going out this summer and possibly looking at some other dealerships to see what the prices would be for that.
Okay. Any other questions on bills?
I believe that was it.
All right, any questions on minutes?
I don't think so.
All right, do I have a motion, please?
Resolved that the Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois hereby takes the following action on the listed consent agenda items. A, approves payment of the bills as presented and listed in section Roman numeral 7A of the January 14, 2004 Board Agenda Packet, and B, approves minutes from the meetings held on December 10, 16, and 18, 2013, open and closed, as presented and amended in the January 14, 2014 Board Agenda Packet.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ed Jepson. Any other discussion? Mary Ann?
Mr. Gretchen?
Yes.
Mr. Jepson?
Yes.
Dr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh? Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Mr. Cindy?
Yes.